What's up, guys? It's your girl Rashi174. I'm back again with an update. So you guys know I had Sabrina on November 4th, 2017 at 11:01 p.m. She was 6 pounds 1 ounce and 19 inches long. This Saturday coming up, it's Wednesday, Thanksgiving's tomorrow. So this Saturday coming up, she will be 3 weeks old. So I will have a 3-week-old baby, and so far everything is new. You know, it's so different when it's your own baby as opposed to your friends, or you're watching your friend's baby or helping them with their baby. You know, sometimes you're exhausted, but you can get away from that life, you know, and go back to your regular routine and have, you know, your breaks and get yourself some sleep. But it's so different when it's your baby. And so let's start from when I gave birth and how the whole birthing process was, because I don't think I continued on what was going on. I don't even remember the last thing I updated or what I said. I should have watched my own video, right? Well, so far, when I got to the hospital, they gave me a pill that they put up the vagina. I forgot what it's called. Cephalus something or something like that or whatever. So they gave that to me. When they gave that to me, it was supposed to soften the cervix. And then after that, they gave me a balloon, and I had the balloon in overnight, and then that next morning on the 3rd, because I went in the second, like a late evening, afternoon. Then that morning of the 3rd, it came out when I went to use the bathroom. So they're like, all right, that's good, because that means you're 3 or 4 centimeters dilated. But it's a forced 3 or 4 centimeters dilated. It's not like you naturally got that big. So even though you're stretched out that big, doesn't mean you're going to really progress from that point. So then after that, they was like, all right, so we're going to start the Pitocin. So they start the Pitocin. I'm starting to feel contractions, but they're not that bad. I'm doing this whole breathing technique, and, you know, I'm just allowing the contractions to happen instead of tensing up every time one happens. You know, I'm just breathing through it, and it goes away like this. So the intensity of the contractions, they started, but to me, they weren't bad. They weren't painful as people describe them as. To me, they were fucking annoying, because they were just like back to back to back, and then they would slow down and be a little drawn out. And then one of the doctors, because you don't even get, it's not like back in the day you have your one doctor that you go see. It's a bunch of residents and different doctors that's there. One of them checked me, and she said that I was still 3-4 centimeters dilated, but then she turned around and said that my water was broken. So I'm like, okay, I guess a little bit of water gushed out. So she said my water was broken. But because my contractions weren't consistent back to back to back to back to back, they kept upping the level of Pitocin. Now, to my knowledge, one of the nurses that I asked, she said that when they keep turning up the level of Pitocin, hold on, my baby's crying. Her father has her, but I need to see what's going on. Like, my nerves are like, oh, my baby's crying, my heart's like in my throat. Yeah, he's changing her, I swear. I show him all the time how to change her fast, to just have all your supplies ready before you go to change her. And he doesn't listen, and he takes forever to change her. It's so annoying and heartbreaking, because I hate hearing her cry. And now she's also hungry at the same time. I know that for a fact. But anyway, so about the Pitocin, what I was told is that I was like, how much Pitocin does a person need, you know, before they're ready to give birth? And she was like, they're going to go up every half hour in increments of 2 milligrams. So they started off at 2, and long story short, I ended up getting 20 milligrams of the Pitocin. And the reason why is because hold on. Alright, so she's hungry, so I have to do a little bit of nursing. But so what I'm told is that they're gonna give it to me 2 milligrams every 30 minutes. She said some people, they're ready at 10 milligrams, some people are ready at 15, but I went all the way to 20. And come to find out, I really didn't have my water broken. Another doctor came in and checked me and was like, You're about 5. She's like, wait, your water isn't broken. And she stuck something up there and broke my water. And it's like, I was already getting, babe, I was getting 20 milligrams or 22 milligrams
Of what?
of Pitocin.
I didn't hear that part, sorry.
I think it was 22. Hold on. So yeah, I believe it was 22 milligrams. And then it's like, if my water would have actually been broken, I probably wouldn't have had to go up to 22 milligrams of Pitocin. I probably could have been ready earlier. I mean, I know they say when you get induced, like, it's the worst because you're forcing your body into go into labor when it's not ready. But I mean, I don't think that I would have had to go all the way up to 22 milligrams because when my water did break, I can't even say the pain. It felt, I mean, it may sound graphic, but it felt like if you had like rough sex, I would say, and like the dryness that the vagina felt after all the water came out, and then it's like a pushing, like you have to take a poop. It feels like something heavy is in you and it needs to come out, like you gotta take a poop. That sounds weird, right? I know. But the cramping felt like when I had IBS. Then at the same time, it felt like when I had my period. And then it was like a burning of my back. Like if you do too many back workouts, your lower back. So I felt like it wasn't, labor pains wasn't a pain that I never felt before. It was a combination of different pains all together at once. And it was just annoying. Scratch that about the vagina part. That was afterwards. That wasn't the labor part. That was afterwards. But the labor part felt like cramping in my intestines of like IBS and also of menstrual cramps, and in my lower back as if I did too many like back workouts or something, lower back workouts or squats or something. But yeah, so it was like a combination of that kind of pain together. And then after that, I would say that was at maybe 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock that happened. And it just was too much. It was too much for me because I kept feeling like I had to push really, like I wanted to lay down. No, that's a lie. I'm skipping because there's so much going on around the camera that I can't really like focus and concentrate because I tell you I'm trying to nurse at the same time. So, what was going on? I don't waste tape on. Okay, right. So, like I said, the contractions, they couldn't read them with the thing around my stomach. So what they did was they stuck up a uterus kind of catheter to monitor the contractions. And when that lady stuck it up there, it felt like it was scraping against my uterus. That was a pain I've never fucking felt before. It was horrible. I was like, oh my God. And my mom and Devin was there, and Devin was like, oh my God, like, yo, you're hurting her. And so they stuck that up there. And then because they stuck that up there, there was no way I can go to the bathroom. So they had to put a catheter in, my bladder. So I had that taped to one leg. I had that inserted in me, taped to one leg. I had the catheter that's in my uterus in there and taped to the other leg. Then I had these things around my shins that were supposedly helping circulate blood flow. And then I also had the IV on another arm. So I was looking like one of these crazy dolls just laid out like Pinocchio or something with the string still attached, like laid out on the bed, and I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. It was so uncomfortable. And then with the pain of the contractions, it's like I couldn't take it anymore. I was just so uncomfortable. It was just uncomfortable. It was an annoyance. The pain was annoyance. I couldn't take it, and I was crying to Devin because I felt like I failed because I wanted to do this whole natural birth, and I didn't want to take an epidural. I didn't want anything happen to my back afterwards. I didn't want to be this new age, or I can't take the pain, give me epidural. But I honestly feel like it had a lot to do with the fact that my Pitocin level was at such a high level when I was told my water was broken when it really wasn't. So I was able to get some sleep that following morning. But I was able to get some sleep because I ended up getting an epidural. So as soon as they gave me the epidural, my butt cheeks and my thighs started feeling tingly, and then my legs went numb, and then they helped me put them back onto the bed, and I was able to get some sleep. So the next morning on the 4th, I was starting to feel the contractions again, and they said you can press the button. I honestly think that button didn't work. They said press it every 10 minutes or so, but I feel like it wasn't working because it was, my body was like, it's time to give birth, but it didn't happen till later that night. So now, so far as giving birth, when it was time for me, it was actually giving birth, helping someone else give birth down the hall or whatever. And throughout the whole time, people were screaming and carrying on. It was me. I still was doing my breathing exercises. Mind you, I'm still laying in a bed. I can't move. I'm restricted. And Devin had stepped out because some family members had came, but I didn't want to see anybody because I'm having contractions. I'm ready to give birth. I didn't want to see anybody. And I actually felt the need to push, and I was laying in the bed, and I actually was reaching down for my legs, and I was pushing a little bit on my own to bring her down because I was ready for her to go and get out. It was eviction day. She was supposed to be here the 2nd. It was the 4th. I at least wanted her to be here the 3rd of November because my birthday is December 3rd. So I'm like, oh, birth be born on the 3rd. That'd be so cool. But it didn't happen that way. So it was the 4th. So I'm like, all right, she has to get up out of here. So by the time they came in and they hooked my legs up and everything, they was like, oh, she's pretty much right here, you know, push. And I think I did 8 sets of 3 pushes. 3 pushes, like 3 sets of 10 for 8 times or whatever, if that makes sense. So 8 different times I did 3 sets of 10. That makes more sense. So, is ready? I'm trying to get her to get off my boob. Hold on. So, that's where the feeling that I was talking about, it felt like, I just wanted to get her out. When I got her down far enough to, her head was time to come out, it's like this intense pressure that I never felt before. I've heard about the ring of fire and all this stuff like that, but that didn't really bother me. The pressure of it all, like, it felt like I was trying to push out a bowling ball or something, like something that it felt like it would never happen. It didn't hurt, the pushing. I don't know how to describe it. Like, it was just this intense pressure, and I wanted her to get out. So every time I had a contraction, that pushing feeling, I was trying to get her out of there. And I don't understand how people be screaming and wasting all that energy, because I was still able to have a conversation with Devin. I could still feel everything that was going on. It's not like it was numb there. No, I can feel everything, because I kept asking him, like, am I pooping? Because it felt like I'm pooping. You know, every time I pushed. And then it got to a point where that dryness that I was talking about, this dry, like you had some rough sex that there was no lubrication whatsoever, feeling. And then I know that they were massaging around, trying to help. Because I even said to them, can you guys put some lube down there? Just as normal as that. Can you guys put lube? Oh, we're putting some lube, they said. And I just was like, she got to come out, because that feeling that feeling right there was horrendous. That dry, rough feeling, that was horrendous. That's why I probably tore, I think. They said I had 1 tear, which is normal. I was trying to figure out where it was at, but like they didn't want to tell me or something. Like, I'm about to freak out. I mean, what can I freak out about? I'm pushing out a baby. Like, what is there to freak out about? You know what I'm saying? I'm calm this whole time. And then what else happened? What happened? I'm trying to remember. 2 weeks ago. So then Devin said I was giving like some good pushes. He was so excited. He's like, I can see her, babe, and I can see her head. I can see her. She got a lot of hair, and I can see her face and all stuff like that. And I just wish that it was able to be recorded. It sucks that nowadays hospitals are so worried about you having evidence on them. God forbid if something happens, but it's like if something happens, it's still evidence that it's kind of your fault. You know what I'm saying? You have a witness as to something that happened there. I can't even record and enjoy, the birth of my kid. Like I wanted to see what he was seeing. I go on YouTube and I see other people cooters and they babies coming out, and I wanted to see mine and see what was going on and watch that. So she came out. It felt like a relief, like my mom said. My mom said it felt like you took a big dump and it's a relief. It didn't feel like that to me, but it just felt like, all right, the pushing is over. And when they plopped her down on me, I wanted to try to breastfeed her right away, but she wasn't breathing as they wanted her to, because after one of the pushes that I gave, I kind of stopped right here. So when I finally was able to get her out like that, I guess they was rubbing her and stuff like that to make sure she was okay. And then they wouldn't let him take pictures of her right away after they put her on the bed. And they wiped her down the heater and stuff like that. And then she started making more noise. Then that's when they gave her back to me. But one thing I didn't expect is that when they put the baby on you, how warm your baby is. And the skin is all wet and clammy. And baby's all wet. Like it just came out of an oven or something. I didn't expect that. That's something that you don't think about. Like, well, the baby's going to be wet. And the baby's going to be really warm. So that happened, and then when she came out, I was just looking at her and looking at her face and looking at her eyes and her head. It was shaped all cone shaped, and I'm like, wow, that's what was taking so long to come out, all that head. And looking at her body, and she was so light, so it's like very like light skin, and just looking at her and listening to her cry. And then they wiped her down over there and they brought her back to me. And I wanted to breastfeed, but then people wanted to come upstairs. And I was having that skin to skin, but I wanted to breastfeed her right away. And then they were sewing me up while she was on me. That to me was the worst, because they had numbing stuff to put down there, but they chose to torture me first by trying to sew me up without doing it. And then they finally put the numbing stuff. I was so annoyed with that. And it felt like, how you take an orange slice and you're eating it and then you bend it inward to get all the good stuff. It felt like that's what they was doing to the inside of my labia minora. It felt like they were taking it and pulling it like inside out to get to the area where they needed to sew. So from then on, they moved me. They put this like mesh underwear with like this. It looked like a half pamper with looked like two adhesive long always pads on top of that inside the underwear, and put that on me. And then they took all the stuff off of me. It took the epidural out. It took everything off. And then they moved me to another room. When I got to that room, they said that Devin couldn't stay in that room, which to me is fucking stupid. Like, he's there with me when I'm giving birth, and he was able to stay in the room with me the whole time, but it's been a night, but he can't stay in the room with me because it was another patient on the other side. Like, that's what the curtain is for. Like, he could have still been on that side with me. He took her to the nursery. He went to the nursery with her, and they gave her a bath and stuff like that. And then they told him he couldn't record in there, which to me, I'm like, damn, like he can't even record. Like, his baby is getting a bath for the first time. He can't record his baby getting a bath for the first time, and then they didn't even give her like a full bath, like he said. And so far as her diapers, she wasn't making as many diapers in those 2 days as I felt she should have made, because they say after birth you get one poop diaper, which is the meconium pamper with the black tar doo-doo, and then you get the one wet diaper and then two the next day and stuff like that. And she's like, she wasn't getting any diapers, and it's like, instead of them saying, okay, hey, we're gonna have to supplement with formula, because even though I know you're breastfeeding, it doesn't seem like she's getting enough. And I even went to a breastfeeding class where they didn't actually show me how to do anything. It was like we were just having a discussion, like how, like, oh, this is how you would breastfeed and stuff like that. Nobody actually came around and touch my breast and show me how to hold it and what I should do and how to express my milk manually and stuff like that. Nobody showed me anything, so I'm just doing everything based on what I seen online or seen people do. Breastfeeding is not magically like, oh, I just put you here and it works. No, it takes some time, you know what I'm saying? So then when I finally seen a diaper that needed to be changed, I noticed she had all this like discharge and stuff around her clitoris and stuff. And I'm like, I thought they gave her a bath. And it's like, what's the point of giving her a bath if you're not going to clean all of this stuff off of her? So I had to clean that stuff off of her, and I actually wiped her down a little bit with her wipes, and she still had like blood and crusty stuff like all around, like little crevices on her body and her neck. And I'm just like, what was the point of them taking over there and giving her a bath? Like, stupid. So then, like I said, she didn't poop for 2 days. And then when she finally pooped on Monday, they were like, all right, mind you, it was like almost 9 o'clock. It's like, all right, you can go, because she pooped. Like, that's all they was waiting for. Mind you, I didn't poop yet. I thought they had to wait till I pooped too. They didn't care that I didn't poop. They were just like, oh, the baby pooped, you can leave. You're good. And they didn't give me any of the Similac milk that they normally give you with the nipples are already pre-made one, because I was breastfeeding. So they didn't give me that. I took a bunch of like the sanitary napkins and stuff like that to take home with me. The water bottle that they give you to clean yourself off with. It's like a spray bottle on the end. Kind of like how your dishwashing liquid has that funny top. It's like that pretty much. You fill it up with warm water and soap, and you can just, when you're in the shower, I have one for the shower and one for when I use the restroom. It works wonders. That way you don't have to worry about like really touching that area, because it's so tender. And they also give you this spray that you can spray down there to like, it's like a cooling, healing spray, which is pretty good. I made sure I swapped about 2 or 3 of those. And then we was off home, got home, and it was like around 10 something. Mind you, I had her with me the whole time. I didn't send her to the nursery, so I was exhausted. She didn't want to sleep in the bassinet there at the hospital, so she did not want to sleep in her crib. She wanted to sleep on you. And, you know, just trying to get used to the routine of, you know, being a mom, and the fact that she wasn't getting anything. So Tuesday, I asked Devin if he can go and get her some of those Similac ready to go bottles, because I felt like she wasn't getting enough. And surely she really wasn't. She wasn't getting enough milk. And I have a pump, the Medela pump, and it's like it wasn't working. It's working. I just wasn't using it properly because I don't have small boobs. So I found out, Devin was like, oh, why don't you push it against your boob, you know, put some pressure against it so that, Kenji being nosy. Push it against your boob so that, you know, the milk can express. And that's exactly what happened. So instead of me just holding it on the end, me pushing it against it, it started to squirt out. And I was so excited. I was like laughing and smiling. He has like a video of me like using both of them. I'm just like, like so excited. So I'm like, all right, finally she's gonna get some milk. And then it's like that Tuesday, was it Tuesday? No, Wednesday, she had her first doctor's appointment. The pediatrics that she go to is right by my house. So winter's coming, so this is perfect. I don't have to worry about going anywhere far, especially even in the summertime. I don't have to worry about going anywhere far. It's right there, right down the block. So we went there. They gave her the vitamin. No. They gave her. All right, so she ended up getting the vitamin K shot in the hospital. They made it seem like it was such a big deal. And there's a lot of people that don't want to give their kids a vitamin K shot. And they pretty much tell you that it's mandatory. It's state mandatory, New York State mandatory. And that if you don't want to give your baby the vitamin K shot, then it's a big thing that ACS or CPS, as some of you guys know, is going to get involved in all this crazy shit. It's like, if I don't agree with something, a shot, this is my baby. Why is the government and people getting involved talking about they have to get the shot? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a whole conspiracy bullshit with that. But anyway, I gave her the vitamin K shot because I didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want her first moments of life, me have to deal with ACS trying to take my baby away from me. You know what I'm saying? So I let her get that shot, and then they wanted to give her, I think, out of the hepatitis A or B shot. I don't remember which one it was, but I was like, no, I don't want her to have that right now. So when I took her to her first pediatric appointment, they gave her that shot. This video is 25 minutes in. I don't know when it's going to cut off, but I'm going to try to speed this up. So we took her there to get that shot, and pretty much she cried a little bit. I wanted to cry because I was like, oh my God, my 4-day-old baby's got a shot, and I didn't like hearing her cry. And the doctor's telling me, you know, she's doing good and how I should try to breastfeed more often or whatever, now that she's crying or whatever, to soothe her. And then we got to the house. Now, mind you, when we left the hospital, my blood pressure was 144. They had said if she didn't poop on Monday that they were going to keep her another day, but that meant I would have to leave. But because my blood pressure was a little high, they were saying that maybe I could stay too. They can kind of use that as an excuse for me to stay. But because she pooped, they gave me the boot. So even though they knew my blood pressure was high and I had a nosebleed and I told the doctor about it, they still let me go home. So that Wednesday, we went out to Target to try to get one of those bassinets that you can co-sleep with in the bed. It's made of metal, so you don't got to worry about rolling over and all stuff like that. We went over there for nothing because you have to pre-order it. They deliver it to the Target, and then you come pick it up. So we went over there for nothing. By the time we got home, I wasn't feeling right. Now, my gestational diabetes is gone. My blood pressure, remember throughout the whole pregnancy, I was telling you guys, even after we left from my 12-day stay, my blood pressures were always in the normal range, 119, 116, over 70 or 60 and stuff like that, or even 80. And it's like, after I gave birth, my blood pressure was high. So the diabetes went away, but it's a after birth preeclampsia that you still have because the hormones supposedly got to leave your system and all this other stuff like that. So it's like my blood pressure was high. I checked it. It was like 150. Then I turn around. I'm like, yo, if it don't go down like this don't seem right. And then you freaking out at the same time. Then it went up to 160. Then it went up to 170. And then the radiator was blasting, and the people that live upstairs, their radiator was leaking in the ceiling once again, so my ceiling was dripping. So we're trying to wait for the super to come to check that. At the same time, my blood pressure is rising, and I was like, you know what, it's 170. I gotta go. I don't want to have no heart attack, no stroke, no nothing. I just had this baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to go. So we went and to the emergency room, same hospital that I had her at downtown, and they took my vitals. My blood pressure was 180 over 109. And then they sent me to the back. Mind you, we had Sabrina with us. They put me in a room. I took some urine. They said that I didn't have any ketones in my no proteins in my urine. And then another lady wanted me to give pee again. I gave pee. They gave me some medicine to bring down my blood pressure. It wasn't the that sulfate, that magnesium sulfate. It wasn't that. It was some blood pressure medication that they gave me to try to bring down my blood pressure. And the first con wasn't working, and then they tried another one, and the other one brought it down, and then it was like they were going to take me upstairs to the 12th floor. Now, the 12th floor is the labor and delivery floor. So when it was time to go upstairs, it was like, oh, we're taking you upstairs. Your baby can't go upstairs. Your boyfriend and your baby can't go upstairs. They can't stay with you. I've never had the feeling that I had when they told me that. Like, I felt like somebody was telling me that they were taking my child away from me, because I've never been without her. She's been in my belly this whole time. When I gave birth, she was there. I didn't send her to the nursery. And it's late at night, and now I'm sending my man and my baby home by themselves. He's tired, you know, and now he has to stay up and do this alone like he's a single parent. And it's like I feel like I'm missing out because I only had my baby home for a day and a half. I didn't even have my baby this whole time. You know, only had my baby for 2 days by myself home. And now you tell me I can't have my baby with me? Mind you, you put me on a labor, delivery, and a recovery area, and you got women who just got C-sections. You know, I just gave birth right around the corner in that room, and I'm hearing people screaming and going through labor. I'm hearing babies crying. I have women in the recovery with their babies. Do you know how torturous that was? And I have high blood pressure, and you think my blood pressure is gonna go down? I'm sitting there crying and bawling. When they told me that I couldn't bring upstairs, I was shaking. I was crying and shaking, and Devin was like, "I never seen you like that before." Like, I was freaking him out because I'm like, I was so pissed. Like, I couldn't believe. I'm like, I can't believe you guys are telling me I can't take my infant, my newborn with me upstairs. I felt so wronged by them. I felt so wronged by them. I'm going to do a part 2 of this video because my battery's low and I think this video is going to cut off. And I don't want it to cut off while I'm mid-talking. Like the video that I tried to do when I think I was 35 weeks and I did it like 3 different fucking times and it kept cutting off. So I'm going to come back with another video, but I'm going to leave it at how they wouldn't let me take Sabrina upstairs and how they like, I feel like I was traumatized. I'm so serious. I feel like I was traumatized from that. Like that was like the worst thing ever that I feel like you can do to like a new mother, to like take her baby away from her. Like that was horrible. And then put her around other people and their babies. Like I don't think that was right at all. So I'm going to come back with a part 2.